and welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today I have a very exciting video. I am going to be doing the first in hopefully a series of videos that I'm planning on doing, and as you guys can tell by the title, this series is my favorite booktubers pick what I read. This is going to be my very first secret TBR, which I am so excited to do. I love watching secret TBR videos, especially from Books and Lala. I feel like, I don't know if she's the one who like invented secret TBRs, but I feel like she's definitely like a pioneer in the secret TBR industry. I just love all of her secret TBR vlogs and stuff like that, so I'm going to be trying to do something kind of similar to something that she would do, but this, as far as I know, this is my idea. I haven't seen anyone do what I'm planning on doing, but if you guys have seen any videos similar to what my plan is, then please let me know. But I'm not trying to copy anybody or anything. This is just an idea I had. I mean, I'm definitely inspired by Books and Lala and her secret TBR videos. But yeah, so basically how this is going to work is I chose 3 of my favorite booktubers, and they are essentially going to be choosing what I read. So how I'm going to do this is I will be using a random number generator, and I am going to pick a number between 1 and 200, and whatever number that is picked, I'm going to go to the, so for example, let's say the number is 65. I'm going to go to the booktubers 65th most recent video, and I'm going to watch it, and the first book that they mention in that video, whether it be a book they read, a book they loved, a book they hated, a book that they haven't read and they're just mentioning it, a book that has nothing to do with the video, they just happen to mention it, like literally anything is the book I'm going to read. I've decided to set some parameters for myself since this is my first time doing this, and I'm trying to get a feel of if I like doing this kind of thing or not. So basically, the book that I'm going to read, it has to be a book that I haven't read yet because I don't want to reread anything. I have a lot of books that I need to read that I haven't read yet, and it has to be a book that I own, whether it's a physical book or a book that I already have on my Kindle. I think if these videos do well and if I really like doing them, eventually I might do literally the first book that they mention, and it wouldn't matter whether it is a reread for me or if it's a book that I would have absolutely no interest in reading, and I would either buy the ebook or the physical book or whatever and read it like no matter what. I think that would be really fun, but since this is my first time doing it, I think I'm gonna do it this way. That way I can tackle my physical TBR and, you know, not spend time rereading things when I should be reading stuff that I haven't read yet. So in the video, if they like either keep mentioning books that I've already read or they keep mentioning books that I don't own, and then the video ends, then I will choose another number and choose another video and go from there. So that's how this is gonna work. I'm really excited. I actually wasn't supposed to film this, or wasn't planning on filming this today, but I'm really excited to get this started. So yeah, it's actually today, the day that I'm filming this is July 27th, and I'm planning on posting this video probably near the end of August. Because I need time to like actually read these 3 books. So when you guys are watching this, it'll be like a month from now for me. So hello from the past. But yeah, so I should probably mention who the booktubers I'm going to be using for this experiment, I guess, in this first video of mine. So I've already mentioned her. I have to use Books and Lala, or Kayla from Books and Lala, because I mean, first of all, she's one of my absolute favorite booktubers. I love every single video she does. She is so creative. I feel like there's no way you aren't subscribed to her, but if you're not, I highly recommend you go subscribe to her because she keeps keeps doing videos that I've never seen before. She's just so creative, and oh my god, her videos are just so much fun to watch. I love her so much. So for all those reasons, that's why I chose her. And also because, so Kayla, her favorite genre is mystery and thriller, and I really want to read more mystery thrillers. I actually don't own too many on my physical TBR, but I do have quite a few on my Kindle, so I am hoping to maybe get one of those read. She also reads a lot of contemporaries, and I like contemporary obviously, so for her I'm sure I'm gonna get either a mystery thriller or a contemporary. She also reads, like, sometimes she reads middle grades, like sometimes for one of her like secret TBR videos she reads a book that she wouldn't normally read, and so maybe with that I will get a book that isn't normally part of her reading taste, but that I actually have. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but I did try to choose people that I love, but also that have similar tastes as me, because there are a lot of booktubers that I love. I love watching their content, but we don't have similar tastes, so I wouldn't own a lot of the books that they talk about, so that's why. So the next booktuber that I chose is Haley from Haley in Bookland. Haley is one of the first booktubers that I found and watched, and I love her videos. She, like, first of all, she has a lot of books, and she's probably one of the booktubers that has the most similar taste to me. She reads a lot of YA fantasy, she reads a lot of contemporaries and romance, and like fantasy and contemporary, those are my two favorite genres. They're my like go-to genres. I think that I own a lot of books that she would have either read or hauled or something like that, so I think there's a good chance that I will easily be able to find a book that she mentions that I own. And she also reads a good amount of historical fiction, and I really want to start reading more historical fiction because I have read some, but I would really like to read more, and I do have some that I would love to read. So yeah, so that's Haley. The last booktuber I chose was Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. Oh, I love her. She has like the best vlogs probably of any booktuber I watch. Her vlogs are just so like cozy and calming, and she always has really nice music playing in her vlogs. Like, oh, I love her. And she also, like, she's very real, and she often discusses like mental health and stuff like that, which I really appreciate as someone who deals with mental health issues and stuff like that. So I just really appreciate like how honest she is in her vlogs, or well, in any of her videos. So she reads a lot of different genres. She reads a lot of fantasy, both YA and adult, and she also reads some mystery thrillers too. She reads some horror, which is not gonna help because I don't think I own any horror. She reads some middle grade, like she reads pretty like across the genres, whatever. I think there's a good chance that I'll easily be able to find a book that she talks about. So yeah, so those are the three booktubers I chose, and I'm really excited to see which books they're going to choose for me. And like I said before, this doesn't even have to be, like, this isn't a reading my booktuber's favorite books video. This is literally the first book that they mentioned that I own. So it could be a book they hated and they could say, do not read this book, I do not recommend, and I'm going to read it. So as long as I own it. So I think that makes this video a little more fun. I don't know. Hopefully this goes well, but let's just get started and see what happens. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm screen recording right now. I just learned how to do this, and so I haven't done this before, so hopefully this works, but hopefully you guys can see the screen right now. But I'm going to put a number between 1 and 200 in the random number generator, and let's see what we get. So we have 80, number 80. So I'm going to be starting with Books and Lala. So I have her most recent videos here, so let's see. So okay, my camera just stopped recording, so I don't know if you actually saw me counting down the numbers, but the video we landed on is her Call Down the Hawk reading vlog, and I have a feeling that the only books she's going to mention in this vlog is either Call Down the Hawk or The Raven Boys, and I have already read The Raven Boys, and I do not own Call Down the Hawk. But maybe she mentions another one, so we're gonna see.
From Fido. That's 5 extra hours of data every month.
as I can see, like, as I scroll, like, over the video a bit, I can see that she does go book shopping at some point in this video. So hopefully she mentions some books that aren't, like, it has to be a book that she talks about. So it can't be her in the bookstore and showing, like, books and me being like, oh, I have that book. Like, it has to be a book that she says the title out loud. So we're gonna see. This would have been so great if I actually did have Call Down the Hawk, because then I would know right away what book it would be. Because now I have a feeling she's not going to really mention many other books in this video, but I'm going to watch it, and we're going to see. Okay, she's at chapters. Don't have either of those.
Weirdly, she is kind of the embodiment of what I was expecting Alex Stern to be like in Ninth House. So I'm excited for more of this whole situation. I feel like I didn't talk much of the plot because...
Oh wait! Oh my god! I just realized she just said Ninth House. Oh my god, well there you go! I can't believe I almost missed that. Okay, see, this is why I almost, like, didn't continue watching, or I almost didn't watch the whole thing, because I was like, all she's gonna talk about is Call Down the Hawk. Well, okay, so Kayla just mentioned Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, so I guess that's the first book I'm gonna read. So I know Kayla didn't love Ninth House. Ninth House has gotten so many mixed reviews from people. I've seen some people say they absolutely love it, and I've seen some people say that they do not like it. So I think Kayla gave it either a 2 or 3 stars. So, oh my god, I can't believe I almost missed that. But okay, so that's my first choice. So Kayla has chosen for me to read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so our next booktuber is Haley from Haley in Bookland. So let's see which number we're gonna get for her. 10. Interesting. So 5, 10. Book releases I can't wait for. But this was posted 2 months ago. So there is a chance that some of these have come out since then. But
today I'm going to be talking about some books that
I don't know if I will have them or not, but we will see, I guess. So let's see.
Yesterday, I mean today. Basically, some books that I just can't wait for. I don't normally film videos sitting on my floor, but, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling very lazy. So the first book is Majesty by Catherine McGee. This is the sequel to American Royals. Next is Concrete Rose by Andy Thomas. I am so freaking excited for this book. So I knew when she was writing something, I'm pretty sure I knew that it was set in Garden Heights. This, oh my gosh, I'm super pumped for. So it's kind of, I mean, it's not really a historical fiction, but it's a prequel, kind of, to The Hate U Give, because it follows a 17-year-old Mav, who is the dad in The Hate U Give. And I am so excited to learn more about him. He was always a very intriguing character to me in The Hate U Give, and I loved her family unit. So getting to know more about her father.
A few moments later.
This has been super anticipated. I'm pretty sure.
Wait! Oh my god! Did I do it again? I did it again! I just realized. Wait, let's go back. Hold on.
It's a prequel, kind of, to The Hate U Give.
Okay, so it turns out I'm really bad at doing this because she just mentioned The Hate U Give, which I own, and I just did not realize. See, this is why you have to pay attention, because she's talking about another book that is not even out yet, but she mentions another one, and that's the whole point of this video, is literally any book they talk about. Okay. So the second book that I'm going to be reading for this video is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I've heard only amazing things about this book, and I'm really looking forward to reading Angie Thomas's writing, because I do have 2 of her books now and I haven't read either of them yet, so I'm excited to read that. So The Hate U Give is the book that Haley from Haley in Bookland chose to read for me. The final number, well, we'll see, I guess, but the number for Olivia from Liv Reads a Latte is 128. Okay, oh, I have to go to her. 128. Okay. So.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. 5, 110, 115, 20, 125, 128. Okay.
125, 26, 27, 28. Book of the month unboxings, Nevernight weekly reading vlog. I do not have Nevernight, so that will not be an option. But maybe her book of the month. Oh my god, this.
It's like a weekly vlog. Let's do it. So as I have done previously on Liberty's Latte, just pants.
Okay, let me just say first, this vlog is an hour long, so I really hope she mentions something. When is this video posted? August 2nd, 2019. So I might not have even been following her yet at this point, so I might have never seen this video.
Teacher training stuff with stuff. This is Nevernight by Jake Corso and copyrighted by Jake Corso. So when I said 2020, it will be, oh my god, we're in 20s. I didn't even think of that. This is literally going to be the 20s stage, but it's because I called the Diviners, not because I'm any kind
The Diviners! She just said the Diviners! Okay. There, I was listening this time. Okay, so Olivia has chosen for me to read The Diviners by Libba Bray. Okay, so there we go. So oh, it's very dark in my room. It looks like it's about to start raining in like 2 seconds, so that's why it looks like this right now. Even though we kind of got off to a rocky start because I was not paying attention, I did catch the books that they said eventually. So that's all that matters, really. The 3 books that I'm going to be reading for this vlog are Ninth House, which was chosen for me by Kayla from Books and Lala. We have The Hate You Give, which was chosen for me by Haley from Haley and Bookland. And we have The Diviners, which was chosen for me by Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. So these are 3 very different books, I feel like. One is an adult fantasy, one is a contemporary, I guess, like a hard-hitting contemporary, and the other one is like a fantasy, spooky, I think it's YA fantasy, like a spooky kind of book. So there we go. This should be really interesting. I'm probably not gonna start any of these books until August. I'm filming my August TBR tomorrow, so I don't actually know what my August TBR is, but these are 3 books that I am going to be reading in August. And I will vlog myself reading them, and so the next clip is probably going to be whenever I start the first book of these 3, probably next week at some point. But yeah, so there we go. I'm excited to read these books, and I will see you guys soon for whenever I start them. Hi guys, so it has been a few weeks since that last clip that you saw. I think I filmed that at the end of July, and it is now like halfway through August. So it's been a while, but I thought I would finally update you guys. I am about halfway through Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which was Kayla's pick for me, kind of. And I am kind of struggling through this book. I found the first like 100 pages of this really confusing. I didn't really know what was going on, and now I'm kind of like more used to it, but I'm still like not too sure what's going on, and I kind of don't care also. Like, I care about Alex as a character, she's the main character, but aside from that I don't really care about any of the other characters. Like, okay, so I'll explain a bit about what this book is about, but I'm not gonna do a good job because I'm still confused about it. So basically, this takes place at Yale, and there are a bunch of like secret societies, and they all can do magic, I think. And then Alex is kind of like a what's the word? An apprentice, I guess. So she is joining like the Ninth House, which they basically like keep all the other houses in line, kind of. So there's 8 other houses, and they're like the different like secret societies, and I think the Ninth House kind of like keeps them all in line and make sure no one's doing anything like bad. I don't know, I'm not explaining this very well, but so Alex is like an apprentice for the Ninth House, and she has this teacher named Darlington, and the story goes back and forth between like the present, and we know that Darlington is missing and we don't really know where he is, and we don't really know what happened either. And then there's the past, which is like Alex and Darlington meeting and him like starting to teach her things and stuff like that. and I just don't really care about the past timeline. Like, I wish the whole story was just in the present, and like the present is basically told from Alex's point of view, and then the past is from Darlington's point of view, and I just don't really care. I don't really care about Darlington too much, so every time we get a chapter that's in the past, I'm like, ugh. Like, the last chapter I read was all about Darlington and like his childhood, and I cannot tell you what I read because I kind of zoned out. Like, I don't know, I'm just not super into this book, which is kind of disappointing, but I don't know. I'm halfway through and I'm hoping it'll get better and I'll get more into it, but that's my update for now. I do, like I said, I do really like Alex as a character, so that's what's kind of like keeping this going for me. But if I remember correctly, I don't think Kayla was super into this book either, so I guess we'll see what happens. But I thought I would update you guys, so there you go. I will update again either when I'm more into this book or once I finished. But yeah, so that's it for now. Hello everyone. I'm sorry about my hair right now, but this is what you're gonna get. But I finally finished Ninth House. I finished it yesterday. It took me almost 2 weeks to read this, which is way too long to read. Like, I think this was like 450 pages. I did not like this book very much. I gave it a 2.5 stars because I don't think this is a bad book, and I can see why some people would like it, but this was just not the book for me at all. It took me so long to read it because I never wanted to pick it up because I just was not into it at all. And I found that there was way too much going on in the book that I didn't care enough about the things we were supposed to care about. Like, I only cared about our main character, Alex. She was the only character I really cared about. There is another character in the book named Darlington, but at the beginning of the book, or like very soon, not very far into the book, we find out that he's disappeared, and it takes us a long time to really know what happened to him. And like, I'm supposed to care, like, we kind of get flashbacks with him to kind of get to know him, so we're supposed to care that he's missing and we want them to find him. But I found that his character wasn't developed enough for me to care that he was missing, so every time they talked about him I was like, okay, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I would have liked this story better if there was no back and forth between timelines, if it just started with Alex getting to Yale and learning and like Darlington mentoring her, and then he disappears and then they're trying to look for him. Like, if that all happened linearly, I think I would have liked it more than it being months later and like this murder happens. And like, I know then if it happened linearly, like maybe the murder plot wouldn't matter as much, I guess. But there was just so many different mysteries going on. Like, there was, I think I mentioned this in my last update, that the main mystery of the book is that this girl has been murdered and they're trying to figure out basically who was behind it and why. But there's so many other little mysteries that pop up during the book, and like, I could not keep track with all of them because they kept changing which ones seemed more important. Like, they'd be like, we gotta figure out who killed this girl, but also who wronged this person, but also who did this, but also what happened to this person. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know, it was a lot. I am glad I read it because there's someone walking by. Don't listen to me, sir. I am glad I read it because I know if I didn't read it for this video, it probably would have been a really long time before I picked this up, and now I know that I didn't like it, so I don't have to wonder anymore. But yeah, I don't think Kayla liked this book much either. I think she gave it like 2 or 3 stars when she read it. So it seems like we have around the same opinions, but thank you, Kayla, for choosing this book for me to read. But yeah, I'm just happy this is done and I'm ready to move on. I'm not sure when I'll start my next read for this video, but I will see you guys again whenever that may be.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Hi guys. I mean, for you guys, it's been about 3 seconds since I last updated this vlog, but for me, it's been 3 months. I finished Ninth House in August and it is now November 3rd. It's election day, so that's why everything is a mess right now. But I I don't even know what to say. I don't know why it's taken me so long to pick up the next book for this TBR. I literally don't have a good reason. I just haven't picked up the other 2 books yet. So, I mean, it's not a big difference to you guys. So I'm sorry about that, but finally I picked up the next book for this video, and that is The Diviners, which, just to remind you guys, mostly to remind me because it's been longer for me than it has for you, but this was Olivia's pick unknowingly, and I know that she loves this book. It's one of her favorite books, so I have higher hopes for this than I do for Ninth House because Kayla didn't even like Ninth House that much, so maybe that's why I didn't like it. But Olivia loves The Diviners, and I'm only about 50 pages in. I don't know if you can see that, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I love Libba Bray's writing. It's very atmospheric, which we all know I love, and so far, I mean, I don't know the characters too well yet, but so far I like them. Evie is definitely very different, a very different person than I am. She is very outgoing and I am not, so it's very interesting to read about, but I'm excited to find out more about this world. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I finally started the next book for this video, because it's been a while. It's been like 3 months, so hopefully my plan is to get this and The Hate U Give done in the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully post this video by the end of November. Fingers crossed I can do that. But yeah, so I just want to let you guys know I started The Diviners. I will check in again probably when I'm around halfway through and let you guys know how I'm liking it. So finally we're back to this video. I hope people still care about this video, but yeah, so that's it for now. I will update hopefully again soon. Hello everyone, it is a few days later after I last updated, and I just wanted to update you guys again because I am a bit more than halfway through The Diviners now. I think I have about maybe 150 pages left, something like that, but I am really loving this book. I am so invested. I love all the characters. I really love the writing style. I love the story. I'm really enjoying it. I can't remember if if I gave the synopsis of all these books back when I first picked them, so I'll just give a quick synopsis now. But this book basically follows, well, our main character's name is Evie. This book takes place in the 1920s in New York, and Evie has this power where if she touches other people's, or if she touches objects that belong to other people, she is kind of able to see memories through these objects, and she's always had to keep this power kind of a secret, but often when she's at parties and she's a little drunk, she kind of uses it as like a party trick, and at the beginning of the book this kind of gets her into trouble, so her parents send her to live with her uncle in New York, and her uncle runs this museum that it isn't doing too great. They're kind of losing money, and so there's also a bunch of murders happening in New York, and her uncle kind of gets involved with the investigation of the murder, so Evie kind of tags along with him to investigate these murders. And we also meet a bunch of other characters, and we're kind of slowly starting to find out that each of them have some sort of power as well. So I have a feeling by the end of this book all of the characters are going to kind of come together, and I'm sure in the rest of the series they use their powers against this person or thing that is murdering everyone, because this thing, he's kind of like a ghost, and his name is Naughty John, and he's super creepy. And this book is definitely kind of spoopy. I have heard people say that it can get a little scary, and I definitely would agree, but I am just really enjoying it. I can't wait to see where it goes, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. And like I said, I really love all the characters, even the ones that bother me. I like them, so that's always nice. And I just want to say I love one man, and his name is Jericho. I love Jericho so much. I just want to give him a hug. He's just like a gentle giant. I love him so much, and I can tell there's a lot of mystery to him, and I just want to know what's going on. And also, like, obviously him and Sam both have this thing for Evie, and like honestly Sam and Evie deserve each other, I think, because they're both kind of annoying. And Jericho, like, he could do better than Evie, honestly. He deserves a nice girl, and Evie's not that nice all the time, so I hope that works out for him because I want to see him happy. And yeah, so I love Jericho and I love all these characters, and I'm just really happy to be reading this. So yeah. And I also wanted to mention that I did start the audiobook for The Hate You Give, which was the book that Haley chose for me. I do have the physical book, and I was planning on reading it physically, but I was trying to finish these books before Friday, and today is Wednesday. I was trying to finish them before Friday because Friday is the start of the Taylor Swift playlist-a-thon, and I wanted to finish this TBR before that readathon started, but I have a feeling that's not gonna happen. Hopefully I can finish the Diviners before then, but I don't think I'll be able to finish The Hate You Give by then. So once I finish the Diviners, I might continue reading it physically while still listening to the audiobook, because the audiobook is so good. The narrator is so good. She does all the voices so well. So I'm really enjoying listening to the audiobook. I think everyone knows what The Hate You Give is about, but in case you don't, it is about this young girl named Star who is black, and at the very beginning of the book she is in the car with one of her friends and they get pulled over, and then the cops end up shooting her friend and he dies, and he didn't do anything wrong. So it's just an example of police brutality and racial injustice, and that is obviously something that is very relevant in our world right now. So I think this is a really important book to read. But that being said, I know a lot of people kind of read this book and it's like the only book that they read by a black author, or they think that like after they've read this book then that's all they need to know about racial injustice, which, you know, it's not enough. But I think this is definitely a good place to start. But the writing in this is just so good. I haven't read a book by Angie Thomas yet, and I'm so glad that I'm reading this now because the writing is just so good. And I really love Star's dad. Like, he just seems like such a great dad, and I love him so much. And this book is just, I'm not too far into it yet. I'm only like 2 hours into the audiobook, but I can tell it's gonna, I mean, already it's a really powerful read and touches on some very serious topics, obviously. I am really excited to continue that. But yeah, so I just wanted to update you guys a bit. I will hopefully be reading the Diviners tonight. I have been really tired lately because of lots of things going on, so that's why I haven't been reading as quickly, but hopefully tonight I can get a decent amount of reading done, and I will update you guys again at some point, probably when I'm done the Diviners. But yeah, okay. Okay, hi guys. I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that I finished the Diviners like 10 seconds ago. And I ended up really loving this book. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I just really loved it. I found the story was just, I was so intrigued. I really wanted to know what was going on, and I was just so interested in all of these characters, which I find is really impressive that Libba Bray was able to make us interested in all these characters, even though some of them, like, I'm sure all their stories will intertwine eventually. Well, they already kind of do, but I find she just did such a good job at making us care for all of them, even though some of them we didn't even get to see that much. Like, this was very much Evie's story, but I cared so much about Memphis and Theta and even Mabel, even though we didn't get to see her too much, especially near the end. But yeah, I really loved this. And of course I love Jericho still. I'm a little worried about him. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm a little worried about him with how this book ended, but I still love him. He's definitely my favorite character. I love him. The one character I don't love is Sam. Like, I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but He definitely was getting on my nerves, but I have a feeling he'll grow on me, so I'm really excited to read the rest of the books in this series. I've heard that the series just keeps getting better, except I have heard some mixed things about the last book, but I will get to that in a long time probably. But yeah, so this definitely went better than Ninth House. Olivia picked a good book for me but I know this is one of her favorite books, so I'm happy I finally read it. And yeah, so we have a 2-star and a 5-star so far, and I am still reading The Hate You Give. Actually, I'm still listening to the audiobook. Let me see how far into it I am. Okay, I'm 44% into the audiobook for The Hate You Give, so not quite halfway, but almost there. But I'm still really enjoying that book as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to enjoy a book like that because it deals with some really heavy topics, obviously, and I just find it's written so well, and it's just so frustrating like the things that are happening. I mean, obviously, like it's very realistic, this story, so it's very frustrating, just like it is in real life, how, you know, the murder of a young black person is handled, and how, like, you would think that this would be a very cut and dry case, I guess. Like, clearly the police didn't have reason to shoot this young boy multiple times, but because he was a drug dealer, like, people think that maybe maybe he did something wrong, or like, it just makes no sense. And I mean, also the fact that he was black, but it's just really frustrating to listen to. And like, I've been listening to this on my walks, and I just can't help but react to it while I'm walking, because I don't know, I just find it such an emotional read, and I would definitely recommend it to everyone as long as you can handle the subject matter. I think everyone needs to read this book because I just think it's very important. And I think I already mentioned this already, but I know this is a very popular book that most people have read, and I think people read this and think like that's enough activism for one day. But if you haven't read this, I really encourage you to read it, and also read other books by black authors, not just this one, but I do think this is a really important one to read. So yeah, so I'm still really enjoying that, and I will hopefully finish that soon, and then that will be the last book for this video, which I don't know if you hear that. That will be the last book for this video, which I started months ago, and it will be done. So yeah, so I'll probably update you guys again once I finished that book, unless I have something else to say. But yeah, so I'm happy I finished the Diviners. Yay. Okay, so yeah, I'll update you guys sometime soon. Okay, bye. Hello, it is a few days later, and I have finished The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and it was so amazing. It's probably one of the best books I've ever read, I think. It was just so gripping, and just, I don't have the words to explain how good this book is. And I'm not saying anything new. Everyone I know who has read this book has loved it and has sung its praises, so I don't know what I can say that hasn't already been said. But if you somehow haven't read this book yet, I cannot recommend it enough, as long as you can handle the contents of this book, because I imagine this book can be incredibly triggering, especially for black readers. So make sure you look up the trigger warnings in this book, because it deals a lot, obviously, with police brutality, and there are riots that happen in this book, and there's just a lot of racism going on, and sexism, and there's just a lot. So it is definitely a very heavy read, so I would caution you to be careful when picking this up to make sure that you are in a good enough headspace to read it. But I just it was so good, and it's hard to say that I enjoyed it because it was hard to listen to at a lot of points, but I just thought it was just so well written. I thought Star, who is the main character, I thought she was such an interesting character and such a well written character, and it was just so, I don't even know what to say, but I was just so impressed with the writing in this book. And I mean, I'm just I sound like a broken record, but it was just so good and one of the best books I've ever read. I did, like I mentioned, I did listen to the audiobook for this, and I would really like to reread it and read it physically so that I can tab it, because there were just so many quotes that I really want to revisit and make sure that I remember. But if you can, I would highly recommend the audiobook, because the narrator did such an amazing job with all the voices, and her performance was amazing. Like, if a character got choked up, then she would get choked up. Like, she did such a great performance with the voice acting. Like, it was amazing. I cannot recommend the audiobook enough. But yeah, if you haven't read this book yet, please read it. It is so good and such an important read. And like I mentioned in another clip, if you do pick up this book, make sure it's not the only book that you read by a Black author, because I feel like that's what happens with this book, is people read it and, well, especially with white people, they read it and then they think like, oh, that's enough. I definitely highly encourage everyone to read this, especially white people who are trying to learn more about racism, and especially in America, because this takes place in America. But yeah, just please read this, but make sure it's not the only book you read by a Black author, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I mean, if it's not obvious, I'm giving this book 5 stars. Like, I feel like it's objectively a 5-star book. I don't see how anyone could not give it 5 stars. Like, it's just so amazing. And yeah, so I don't know what else to say about it. It was just so good. So because I finished that book, that means that I have finally finished all the books for this secret TBR, which, like I've said many times in my videos, I cannot believe it took me this long, because it was only 3 books. It should not have taken me this long, but for whatever reason I just wasn't picking up these books, and then, you know, finally I was like, hey, I need to finish this freaking video. So it's gonna be interesting to edit this and see the first few clips from way back in July, but I thought this was a really interesting idea. And, you know, it's not like, obviously these booktubers didn't actually recommend these books for me or actually choose them for me, but it is interesting to see, like, my favorite booktubers, what books are they talking about. And well, let me just go over the books I read again. So the first book I read, which seems like so long ago now, was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and I gave this book 2 stars, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 2. It might have been 2.5, but I think in my head, honestly, it's a 2. I really did not enjoy this book. Like, it wasn't for me. I don't even remember much about it. Like, I just remember really not enjoying it. And this was the book that Kayla from Books and Lala chose for me, and she also didn't like it. So, and it was interesting that she, I think it was in the Call Down the Hawk vlog that she mentioned this book, which is why I picked it up. And it's kind of interesting that she kind of mentioned it because she was comparing something from that book to this book. So I don't know, but yeah, I did not like this, but yeah. The next book I read was The Diviners, which was chosen by Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte, and she does love this book. This is like one of her favorite books of all time, and I am really happy that I read this because I loved it too, and I gave this 5 stars. I liked this so much more than Ninth House, but I'm really happy I read this, and it was nice that she happened to be talking about this book in the video that I watched because it is one of her favorite books. So it wasn't like with Ninth House where Kayla was just kind of mentioning it and comparing one aspect of it to Call Down the Hawk. I can't remember exactly what it was because I watched that a few months ago now, but I do remember Olivia mentioning this because she loves this book. So it was interesting to read it and to read one of her favorite books, and it ended up pretty well because I gave it 5 stars, so yeah. And then the last book obviously was The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas, which was recommended by Haley, and I think the reason she mentioned this book in the video I watched is because Angie Thomas's new book was coming out. Has it come out yet? I'm not sure. But she mentioned her other book that came out, and then she mentioned that it was written by Angie Thomas, who also wrote The Hate U Give, and that's why I read it. But the fact that she was excited about Angie Thomas's new release meant that she obviously really liked this book, and I mean, I just gushed about this book for like 5 minutes, so I think we all know that I really loved it too, and I'm really happy I finally read it. And like I said, I think this is a book that everyone should read. so these are the 3 books that I read for this video. I think it was an interesting experiment and I would really like to do this again because I think it's interesting, like I said, to see what books people are talking about in their videos and in what context they're talking about those books, and then reading them and seeing if I agree or disagree with whatever they said about this book. With Ninth House, like I said, it's not like Kayla was recommending it. She was just comparing one aspect of it to the book she was currently reading. So this was very interesting. I do want to do this again with 3 other booktubers, and I definitely think I need to read these books closer together because like I barely remember things from Ninth House, and I don't know. It would be interesting to read them close together and see if I can somehow find a link between these books. But yeah, so that was my secret TBR video. I know some people were waiting for a while for this video, so I hope it lived up to people's expectations. I'm sorry it took me so long for this freaking video to be done, but it's done now and I will edit it soon and you guys will be seeing it soon. But I hope you guys like this video and let me know if you ever try something like this. And yeah, like I said, if I ever do this again, I will try to read the books like one after the other instead of waiting months and months in between them. But anyways, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope people do watch this because it's been a long time coming. But yeah, thank you if you are watching this. If you're watching this, please leave a clock emoji or like a timer emoji, something to do with time, to represent how long it took for this video to come out. But if you're still watching this, leave like a clock emoji or something in the comments to let me know that you're still here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!